Hi, I'm Greg Johnson from NOAA's Pacific Marine Environmental Lab. This is a busy week for virtual meetings. I'm organizing one and was invited to three more, so I'm very sorry that I couldn't make this one. I was asked to talk nonetheless about Ghost Ship, Deep Argo, and OceanSITES, DOOS Complementarities, Deep Ocean Observing System Complementarities. And really this can be summed up in this one slide, but I'll give you 9 more. Ghost Ship provides global, decadal, full-depth reference quality coast-to-coast surveys of a wide variety of physical, biogeochemical, and increasingly biological parameters. In contrast, Deep Argo is targeting global, full-depth, year-round, high-quality measurements of just temperature and salinity, although dissolved oxygen is certainly under discussion, but that's far from a done deal. OceanSITES, deep temperature and salinity time series at a variety of different locations, would provide information on temporal variability at frequencies unsampled by either Ghost Ship or Argo. So here's a snapshot of Argo floats on the 10th of September, the day I put this talk together. There are almost 4,000 of them, and globally, cycling every 10 days, these floats are reporting over 150,000 profiles of temperature and salinity to 2 kilometers yearly. What does that give you? Well, if you look in terms of the global fraction of ocean volume sampled for a number of different layers, going from 90 meters in red down to below basically 2 kilometers in purple at the bottom, for say an annual estimate of upper ocean heat of heat content, using global average estimates of decorrelation length scales and signal to noise. You see that in the 50s, during the International Geophysical Year, mechanical bathythermographs actually upped the sampling of the global ocean volume to about 70%. And in the 60s, in the late 60s, the introduction of the shallow XBT deepened that to about that 70% sampling threshold down to about 450 meters, and that's the orange line. The green line shows that the deep XBT, which was used primarily during WOS, the World Ocean Circulation Experiment in the 90s, was when the use really ramped up, brought that sampling up to 70% in the 90s. Deeper than that, we were never sampling much more than 50% down to 1,000 meters, or even say 20% down in the bottom 2 kilometers. All sampling wrapped up during WOS, including the bottom layer, which was sampled at maybe something above 30% for a few years during the height of the World Ocean Circulation Experiment. And then there was a general collapse, actually, at all depth layers post-WOS until Argo came along. And Argo ramped our sampling up of the top 2 kilometers of the upper ocean half of the volume to 90%. So we are doing really well in that. Whereas down below that, we're still at, say, somewhere between 10 and 25% during Clive RCO2 and Ghost Ship. So the deep ocean is still vastly undersampled. What do we have from Ghost Ship? So this shows you WOS. What have we seen with that? Well, one thing we've observed is, of many really, is deep ocean warming. This sparse decadal ship survey comparing the 20 aughts to the 1990s after Purkey and Johnson 2010 showed average warming, basin average warming below 4 kilometers in degrees C per decade. And the colors max out at 50 milladegrees C per decade. But in the Australian Antarctic Basin, that warming rate actually reaches close to 100 milladegrees C a decade. So remarkably strong warming, Southern Ocean centered. And let's look at a section in the Southwest Atlantic from 60 south up to the equator in the bottom right of this slide. And what this shows is warming below about 4 kilometers, a very strong systematic basin-wide warming of about 2 milladegrees C a decade. And you can see it as well as in the Argentine Basin and strong warming in the Southern Ocean. That pattern is strongly reminiscent of what you see in ocean models. So this is from Bryan et al. 2014. It shows a high resolution model output showing Antarctic bottom water warming from a classic CO2 doubling experiment where they have a 1% increase per year for around 70 years. And this plot shows a difference in ocean temperature, I think a zonal average 20 years before the doublings started to the 20-year average after the doubling started, after the doubling was finished. And what you can see is this warming in the Antarctic bottom water again. So all of this motivates, and other phenomena, of course, motivates Deep Argo to better quantify this deep warming. And this is a design study that was published in JTech in 2015 and called for 1,228 floats. That's basically a float every 5 by 5 degrees in the ocean deeper than 2 kilometers, doing 10-day cycles from the surface to the ocean bottom. And this would reduce uncertainties of decadal heat gain in the deep ocean 5-fold over GO ship, and allow continuous assessments of other deep ocean changes, including changes in salinity because of changes in ice melt and the hydrological cycle, and changes in ocean circulation. The impact on say heat content sampling is hypothetical because it really depends on how quickly the floats move. If they move at 1 or 2 centimeters a second, it would give you about 75% of the volume sampled. If they move at 10 centimeters a second, that would be over 90%. Probably it'll be on the lower end of this estimate, but it would still, just like Argo, revolutionize our ability to observe deep ocean changes. So what's the status of Deep Argo? There are 154 Deep Argo floats as of the time I'm making this presentation, a week before your meeting, that are currently operational in regional pilot arrays. The oldest and largest array is in the Southwest Pacific, in the center of the basin here, center of the picture. But there are arrays in the Brazil Basin, the North Atlantic, off the Antarctic coast, south of Australia, and scattered floats here and there in a number of locations. It's starting to look more than regional, but we're still only at about 1/8 of the global target. So to finish up for discussion, again, I'm just going to reiterate. GO ship provides global, decadal, full-depth, reference quality coast-to-coast surveys of a wide variety of physical, biogeochemical, and increasingly biological parameters, but they really are only decadal. Deep Argo is targeting global, full-depth, year-round, high-quality measurements of temperature and salinity in the 2 kilometers of the bottom half of the ocean that core Argo misses, and dissolved oxygen is also under discussion. And again, OceanSITES deep temperature and salinity time series at a variety of different locations would provide information on temporal variability at frequencies that are aliased both by GO ship, decadal repeats, and Deep Argo, 10-day repeats. And that would yield insights into uncertainty estimates for both the GO ship and the Deep Argo data, and also physical processes that are not seen by those measurement systems.